Hello, and thank you for joining me on the show today. This is the Now Talks, a collection of inspiring personal stories and leadership lessons from some of the world's most iconic leaders. It is the weekly podcast for women in leadership, brought to you by Nations of Women. My name is Dr. Tina Alton, and I'm your host for today and the coming weeks. So we continue our Finishing Strong series, and this week's conversation is all about building before the year ends. Most people end the year winding down, but a wise woman once told me, Tina, you never end the year winding down. Instead, you end the year building up. So whilst others are saying, let's wait for next year, come on, it's November, December's around the corner. How about we pick this up next year? Well, I promise you, the leaders who are builders are saying, we've got to prepare for it now. Because what you do in this final weeks, final months, will determine what you would actually walk into in the first quarter of next year. So don't just stumble into next year. And the truth actually is, you cannot just stumble into a strong year. You walk into a strong year. You go into a strong year because you build it. So this episode is for you if you're a builder, if you're a wise leader, and for those who understand that faith doesn't pause because Christmas is coming or because everybody's diary is slowing down or whatever else is happening where you are. Faith always requires us to prepare, because faith without works is frankly dead. So I want us to have a conversation, and I want us to talk about building before the year ends. So to build means to construct something intended to last. In leadership, building is not about how busy you are, but it's about intentional structure, building a structure or structures with intentionality. In the Oxford Dictionary defines to build as making something stronger or more established. So when we talk about building before the year ends, we're not just talking about project or how busy you are, but we're actually talking about systems, talking about habits, talking about foundations and relationships that will sustain your next season. Because strong finishes build quietly whilst others are taking it easy. So you can either end the year with excuses, or you can actually end the year with something more tangible. Your pick. You get to choose. The Bible talks about in Proverbs 24:7, go ahead, build your career and give yourself to your work. But if you put me first, you will see your building succeed. That's the Passion Translation. So for me, that really helps me and keeps me in that mindset and framework that actually God blesses order. And how well I prepare for something is my proof of the fact that I'm expecting some blessing. I'm not expecting some blessing, just any blessing. But if I'm prepared, it means I'm expecting God to bless me. Because failing to plan is planning to fail. So therefore, it's very, very important that we're planning and we're preparing and laying good, strong foundations. Preparation doesn't mean that I lack faith or that, hey, I'm thinking small because, God is a big God and I've got to trust God. But actually, having faith means that I have to prepare even all the more. It's the expression of faith. My preparation for maybe the next meeting or for the first quarter of next year or the project or my family, what it's an expression of my faith. And that actually helps me personally to know, God, I believe you can do this. And by preparation, I'm saying, God, I am ready when you're ready to move. So you cannot multiply what you haven't structured, what you haven't taken the time and intention to build. Um, and the truth is sometimes leaders fail, not because they don't have faith or they don't have, great ideas, but simply because they lack good, strong preparation or form. And structure doesn't restrict what God can do. It actually helps to stabilize what God will do. So here's the truth. And I'm going to ask us, some questions that they're tough questions, but they're important. These are questions that, I ask myself from time to time, either end of the month, end of the quarter, definitely in the season. These are questions that I'm pondering on a day-to-day basis as I'm building and preparing and planning for the year ahead. And this is the question. If God answered your prayer for growth in your business today, or in your leadership today, or in whatever you're doing today, could the current structure that you have handle it? Maybe could your systems handle more clients? Can your habits handle more responsibilities? Could your mindset handle more influence? If the answer is no, then this is your season to build. And you can ask yourself some other questions. If God answered your prayer today to grow you, to increase you, to expand what you're doing right now, can the structures you have in place handle it? And then you ask, like I've asked those questions, systems, more clients, your habits, your mindset. You fill in the blank and then see where you need to build. So I just want us to look at maybe just three reasons why, sometimes people or leaders fail to build. First one is actually waiting for perfect conditions. We can't wait for ideal circumstances because truthfully, that is the fastest route to stagnation. That's the quickest route to procrastination, overwhelm, overthinking, and then ultimately nothing happens. So you can't wait for perfect conditions. You've got to make a move. You've got to make the effort, right? You've got to make the effort. The other reason is confusing rest with retreat. When you rest, and I don't mean sleeping, but when you're not striving, it actually helps you to renew your strength. But when you retreat, then obviously you're avoiding responsibility. But wise builders build wisely, not endlessly, not striving and striving and striving and striving just to, I don't know, maybe keep a face or keeping up appearances, perhaps, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes people or leaders fail to build because they build alone. The truth is, great builders always partner and collaborate with others. When you isolate yourself, particularly in the season of building, you ultimately, without a doubt, will kill your momentum. But when you build with other people and collaborate with others, that helps to bring and create accountability. And that actually helps to multiply your ability, capability, and potential or capacity even to build. So some practical framework on how to build before this year ends. Number one, prepare your space, clean, organize, simplify. When there is chaos around you, it blocks clarity. So create a physical order. Bring a fresh start to your order, maybe digital order. It could be your emails. That's something I'm working on with my emails. So create some order and an opportunity to have some freshness in that. Number two is review your systems. What worked really well this year? What didn't work? Update where you need to update. Update how you plan, update how you track what's happening in your business, in your leadership, amongst your team, your people, and update how you communicate because you can always communicate better. Always, always, always communicate better. You can never say, oh, you know what, that's too much communication. You can always communicate better. Number three is reinforce your foundation. So strengthen your habits. Maybe your prayer habits, maybe your planning habit, maybe your discipline. Strengthen whatever area that you know needs strengthening. And evaluate your teams, evaluate your partnerships, evaluate your relationships, who belongs in the new season and who doesn't belong in the new season or the next season that's, right round the corner. And plan with God in it. Ask God, God, what should I be building? What should I be building right now in this season? And sit long enough to hear, listen, and then go act on it. Right? So, moving on to some tools to help you strategically as you build. Number one is the 3x3 blueprint. That is 3 goals to complete, 3 systems to improve, and 3 relationships to strengthen before December runs out. That's the 3x3 blueprint. Morning rule. Have at least half an hour every day you dedicate to one area of forward movement. So if it's habit that you're building, it's your mindset you're working on, then 30 minutes a day just to work on that. It could be reading a book, whatever it is. Have 30 minutes dedicated to one area to improve yourself in. Number three, quiet building hour. Once a week, no phone, no social media, just you, pen or pencil, book, whatever it is, and some strategic thinking and some prayer time. And your vision wall. Post visible reminders of what it is you're building because faith thrives on focus. Okay, some quotes to help you. Preparation is proof of expectation. When you prepare, you're telling God that you're ready for what He is bringing to you. I love this quote. God blesses order. Order is not being in control. Order does not mean I have to be in control. Order is clarity. When your house is in order, blessings flow freely. And build quietly. When you construct or when you build sometimes quietly in the months or behind the scenes, then you're able to actually bring to an end, a good end, what it is you're building. There's no premature, um, challenges, if you will. And it reduces the opportunity to abort the mission. So learn to build quietly. And this one is one of my all-time favorites. Structure does not limit faith. Having structure sustains your faith. God fills what is built, what is ready, not what is chaotic. So here are some reflection questions that you can reflect as you are building really strong before the year ends. Question 1, what area of your life needs structure before 2026? Question 2, what habits must I rebuild to sustain what God has given to me next? And question 3, who do I need to partner with or seek accountability from to strengthen my foundations? These are really key questions that I promise you, if you would sit down and reflect on these questions, will actually help you to build strong before the year runs out. And as always, some actionable challenges for you. Number one is I want to encourage you to do a 30-day building challenge. So you can start today. There's no better day than today. For the next 30 days, you'd get there before Christmas Day. Choose one area. It could be business, it could be home, it could be, your family, could be related, it doesn't matter, personal growth, and commit to working on it every day for just 10 to 15 minutes, every day for 30 days. 10 to 15 minutes, choose one area and commit to working on that. The second challenge is eliminate clutter, physical, digital, emotional, doesn't matter, you choose, but bring some order into one of those areas, if not all. And action number 3, like I said, is create the 3x3 blueprint. That's 3 goals, 3 systems, 3 relationships that you need to reinforce before this year ends out. So some final food for thought. You cannot enter 2026 carrying the same level of order that you had in this year. To build for more, you must become more. And to become who you're called to be in the season around the corner, in the next season, the next year, requires you begin to build towards that today. Every brick of discipline you lay now becomes a wall of strength for the next year. And every step of preparation becomes an open door of opportunity. So don't coast into the end of the year. Build your way into it. Readiness is what God blesses. So if this episode has stirred you to build, then I want to invite you on Wednesday to join us on all our social media platforms. We're coming live with our Call to Influence Masterclass, just to give you some great ideas on how to build and how to really finish the year strong. We'll spend time helping you to design your structure, clarify your next steps, and move from, where you are now to consistent execution. For details, go to nationsofwomen.com. And remember, builders, don't wait. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the right day, the right time. There's no better day to start than today. So start. Until next week, remember to stay focused, stay faithful, stay bold. Build now so you can multiply later. And that's all for this week. You've been listening to Dr. Tina Alton with the Now Talks, the weekly podcast for women in leadership, brought to you by Nations of Women. All that remains is for me to say have a fantastic week, stay safe, and reach out if you need any help now at nationsofwomen.com. Until next time, enjoy the pursuit of your potential, and remember, now is your time.